Hey everyone, Andrew again. Welcome back to the second video in this Sociables game series. Now I've decided to actually split this individual card video up into two parts, just because it is actually a lot longer than I thought it would be. So in this first video, I'll be going over the Ace to the 7, and in the second video, I'll be going over the 8 to the Joker. Alright, so as before, in the previous video, we said that getting points is a bad thing, and you're trying to get your opponents to get points. That's the goal of the game. So we'll start with the Ace. So the Ace is the Trivia Master or the Spelling Master. And what this card does, when this person picks it up, they can ask anyone at the table any trivia question or spelling question that they know the answer to. So this could be, what's the 63rd element on the periodic table? Or what years did World War I last? And so they ask someone at the table this question, and if the person they ask gets the answer right, then you get a point. The person who picked up the ace and asked them, because you're ideally trying to ask them a question that they don't know the answer to. But if you ask them the question and they get it wrong, then they get a point, because you asked them a question that they didn't know, but you did. Now keep in mind, you must know the answer to the question that you ask this person by heart. You cannot Google this or research this. However, anyone else at the table can Google or research it to ensure the accuracy of the answer. Now keep in mind that if you ask someone a question and you lie about the answer and you are caught and someone looks up the answer and finds out you're caught, then you actually get 5 points because you were lying. So you have to ask them a question that you know the answer to by heart. And anyone else at the table can look up the actual answer to confirm that you're correct. So again, if you ask a question and they get it wrong, they get a point. But if you ask them a question and they get it right, you get a point. The 2. The 2 is eye contact. And so at any point during the game, when someone looks into your eyes directly, then they get a point. However, this is only in effect when the person who has the eye contact card calls them out on it. So let's say Jason has the 2, means no one can look in his eye or else they'll get eye contact. But let's say Melissa looks into Jason's eye. However, Jason doesn't spot it. Then Melissa doesn't get a point. It's only when Jason calls Melissa out on it. And this card is in effect until the next person grabs a 2 and they are the new person in which you can no longer make eye contact with. The 3. The 3 is the rule maker. And so the rule maker comes up with a rule that the entire table has to follow. This could be no elbows on the table, or no wearing hats, or no wearing glasses, just to name a few examples. And so this card is in effect until the next person gets a 3. And then when the next person gets a 3, then the old rule is out of effect. And now it's the new person's 3 rule. Now, whenever someone is caught breaking this rule, they will get a point. However, someone has to call them out on it, and it can be anyone from the table to call them out on it. The 4. The 4 is called the troll, and it's pretty simple. Essentially, you have to lose your chair until the next person picks up a 4. So you keep this one with you until the next person grabs a 4. If you refuse to lose your chair and continue sitting as normal, you get 1 point for every round that you are not following this rule. So, not a fun card to get. The 5 is Never Have I Ever. And so starting with the person who pulls up this card, and going clockwise, of course, everyone puts up 3 fingers around the table. And then you're going to say a statement about something that doesn't apply to you. For example, never have I ever had a sister. And so you would say that if you've never had a sister. And then everyone else around the table who has had a sister would have to put a finger down. And then it would go on to the next person to say another statement. For example, never have I ever worn glasses. Then anyone who's worn glasses puts a finger down. And then anyone who's never worn glasses would wouldn't put any fingers down. And so this keeps going until someone gets to 0 fingers, and then they would get a point. However, multiple people can get down to 0 fingers at the same time, in which they would both get points. So this is a good card in sometimes exposing people in a fun and respectful way, of course, if you know they've done something. But again, keep in mind, be respectful of all players. Now the 6 is called story time. So what's going to happen, starting with the person who pulls up the 6, they're going to say a word, such as the. And then the next person beside them will add another word to the story, such as the cat. And then the next person will add another word, such as in. So they would say the cat in. And this keeps going around the circle. Each person has to add one new word to the story at a time. However, they have to say the entire story before that point. And if they mess up or take too long, then they get a point. So for example, let's say it gets to the cat in the hat went to the, and then someone struggles for about 5 seconds, they get a point. And so sometimes you can get really crazy stories or really long stories, and so that one's a fun card. And the last card for this video will be the 7. And this is called the 7's card. Basically, everyone in the circle, starting with the first person, will count up 1, 2, 3, 4, etc. However, you must exclude numbers that have a 7 in them, such as 7, 17, 27, 37, etc., 71, 72, 73. So you can't say those numbers. And you also have to exclude numbers that have a multiple of 7, such as 7, 14, 21, 28, and so forth. So for example, it would be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 15, 16, 18, 19, 20, 22, and so forth. And you'll go around in a circle, each person adding another number at a time. The first person to mess up, say a wrong number, or take too long will get a point. So anyhow, that is the ace to the 7, and in the next video I'll be going over the 8 to the joker. Thanks everyone for listening, and I'll see you again next time.